Hello everyone. For my informative speech, I chose to do mental health. I feel that this is something that we do not talk about enough, and I want to make it more known. The title of my speech is Judged on Disease, and the reason that I chose that is because I feel that as a human being, we feel that we are being judged more than we are being accepted. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. I'm going to let you answer those to yourself, and then I'm going to try to fill you in with a little bit of information. Hopefully that will help. Do you know someone that suffers with mental illness? Have you ever seen the effects that the disease has on someone and how it takes a toll on them? Mental illness is very serious, and it takes a toll on millions of people all over the United States. 1 in 5 children, ages 13 through 18, have a serious mental illness or have an underlying mental illness that they are suffering with. Mood disorders such as major depression, bipolar disorder are the 3rd most common cause in hospitalization in ages 18 through 44. 50% of all-time mental illness cases are by age 14. 75% are by age 24, and the average delay of these symptoms and the treatment being cleared are 10 years. Mental illness is a serious condition and can be very dangerous if left untreated. Suicide is the 3rd cause of death in the United States by the youth of 10 through 24, which really took a toll on me because I'm 19, so kind of being in the middle of those ages, I realized that we do all have stressors, and it is hard to find a way to cope with those things. So we have to try to give our loved ones the unconditional support that they need. 90% of those who died by suicide had an underlying disease, so their red flags were not caught. Recognizing mental illness could be the difference between life and death. So in my speech, I'm going to cover 3 main topics. I'm going to cover the first one, what causes mental illness. The second, the warning signs of mental illness. And the third, what to do when you think that someone has mental illness. So what causes mental illness could be your inherited traits. Your mom, your dad, their mom, their dad. Your environmental exposure, what you were born into, the alcohol, drugs, fighting family, inflammatory toxins, stressors, brain chemistry. When the chemicals in your brain become impaired, the nervous system just kind of shuts down, which can cause a mental illness. Mental illness is a crucial step, and it is probably very, very hard to identify. I know it is. While symptoms may vary, there are a few warning signs that can help you recognize mental illness, so I'm going to tell you a few of those. Feeling very sad or down, inability to concentrate, excessive fear, worry, or guilt, extreme mood swings, drug or alcohol abuse, anger, hostility, or violence, suicidal or homicidal thoughts. I'm also going to talk about a few things that someone might say if they are going through a mental illness. The words, I feel so alone, or I have no reason for living anymore. And those are a few red flags that you need to pay attention to and try to seek some professional help. What do you do when someone you know has a mental illness? Pay attention to the warning signs. Make a plan so that you know what to do if those symptoms return. Consider a family member, friends, watch for these warning signs. Get a routine with medical care. Don't skip the visits with your counselor or doctor. Work with a therapist. Try to get better. Get the help that you need. Don't let the symptoms get too bad, because if they do, they can get too far out of hand. Take good care of yourself. What I mean by that is get enough sleep at night. Eat healthy, do physical activity. Those are a few things to help you cope and try to get your mind off of all the downers that come throughout life. Mental illness can be very difficult. It's not going to switch overnight. Your highest highs will be the highest. Your lowest lows will be the lowest. So the conclusion of this that I've talked about is the causes of mental illness, the warning signs, and recognizing mental illness. Recognizing mental illness can be the difference between life and death, and I cannot stress that enough. You have to look for these red flags. Remember, mental illness is controllable and it can be treated. Take control of these symptoms before they get too far out of hand. reach out to someone, such as a doctor, a loved one, a therapist, if you are showing any signs of mental illness. You are important, and that is something that people lack, and you have to put yourself into an environment with positive people, positive vibes, because you are not alone. So I appreciate you listening to my video, and if you can comment on mine, I'll comment on yours. Thank you.